as you start progressing and building knowledge, and now you're ready to actually execute or put on trades, you actually need a broker to do that and handle that. So in this video, what I'd like to do is give you some insight about different types of brokers between the discount brokers and the full service brokers, and how to really choose the right broker for you and your needs. I'm Sasha Evdakov, and thanks for joining me in this lesson. So before we get into the different brokers and which one you should choose for your trading, let's break down the two different types, or the main types of brokers that we have. So the way I'm going to do that is we'll call it D for discount brokers, and the other broker that we have is the full service, and we'll just call that F. So we got discount and full service brokers. Now my guess is if you're watching this video, you're probably going to go with the discount broker just because you probably want to do things on your own. And I'll show you some of the benefits here in a minute regarding these discount brokers. But really, if you're looking at full service versus discount brokers, full service brokers still do something to the end user. And many people in the general public will go with a full service broker. So for example, a full service broker, what they may do is they give you advice. They give you advice based on your taxes. They give you advice based on your future planning. So they give you all this additional service on the phone, in person, as far as your retirement planning, as far as your investing. And what they do is they'll actually execute the trades. So they do many more things. However, this costs you a lot of money. Okay, because they have to make up their money somehow, their revenue. They get paid big bucks in order to do recommendations and consultations. In the end, that's what it goes down with, and they execute your trade. So if you want to invest in Microsoft, if you want to invest in Apple, they will still execute your trades, but typically you will pay much more, sometimes $50 to $100, sometimes even more so to execute that trade. Now, discount brokers are more online kind of brokers. They're cheaper. Okay, so they're cheaper brokers, and in this scenario, it costs less. So it costs you less money for a discount broker, but really what they mostly do is they just execute trades. That's really the name of the game for these discount brokers. They don't give you advice, so they don't give you a chit chat, they don't give you consultations. I mean, if you have technical service problems with the platform or something like that, then they will do that for you. But there's no advice right here as there is in a full service broker. But it costs you a lot less. To put on a trade, it may only cost you $5, it may only cost you $10, depending on what you're trading, how many shares you're trading. So it will cost you a lot less if you go with a discount broker. So for many people, what they do if they're getting started, if they're just going into trading and they want to trade a little more actively, is they will go with a discount broker and put on just a few trades like an ETF or something that's a diversified mutual fund, or that has a basket of stocks, and then just let it sit there because they don't need the advice. They don't need the tax planning or additional retirement planning. Instead, they just want to execute the trades. And to execute the trades, the discount brokers are fantastic for that because they're a lot cheaper. If you want somebody to give you advice, if you want tax planning, if you want some retirement planning and estate planning, then full service brokers are great. Now, my personal advice, if you're looking for advice, if you're looking for tax planning, if you're looking for what to do with your money, instead what you could do is pick up the phone and call a few different places and give that person, let's say $100, $200, $500, depending on the consultation that you're going to get, and call 3 to 5 different people and get some insight about what you should do as far as your own personal situation. So if you walk into an accountant's office and you give them $100 for an hour of their time just to chit chat and get some insight, that might be a better use of your capital than just having everything in a full service broker, because remember, their specialty is not to execute trades. So when you need to execute that trade, it's going to cost you more money. Whereas you could actually have a discount broker to execute your trades, and you can have somebody else who's a tax specialist or somebody who's a retirement planning specialist to give you some insight about all those other things. And it's also good to have 2 to 3 perspectives if you're unsure of how to properly plan your future, or if you're unsure of what to do with your assets, with your real estate investments. So that's why the full service broker sometimes can be great, because you have that one-stop shop. Unfortunately, when you get down into it, executing a trade, and if you're trying to trade more actively, it becomes very expensive, especially if you're trading a lot, let's just say $75 to $150 per trade. I mean, you just can't do that actively with a full service broker, but you can do that with a discount broker. And discount brokers is what people use for active trading, because you don't need the support. You're trading, you're active. You just need to get in and out of trades as quickly as possible with great execution rates. You need a good platform. So that's what you need. And if they need some support, then you can go ahead and, if you need some support, then what you can do is go ahead and call them up and get some support and insight about their panel or platform if there's something wrong with it. So the next step, if you've already decided you want a discount broker, and even if you decided you want a full service broker, how do you decide on which broker to go with? Now for this example, I want to use the discount broker just because I would assume you're looking for a discount broker because you're looking to trade a little more actively. So how do you decide and choose a discount broker based on so many other brokers being out there? How do you choose which one is the right one for you and matches what you need? Now, if you haven't seen my website already, go ahead and take a look at it over there, because I do give some broker overviews. I don't really do broker reviews because I think there's so many great brokers that are out there. It's just simply which broker is right for you. So I like to do an overview of the trading platform. I like to do an overview of their website, just so you get an inside look of what it looks like, how it is to trade, all those different little things, and maybe one of them is better or more right for you. So that's what you could do, is go to the website and go to the resources section or the broker section, and then take a look at those different brokers and get an insight behind the scenes of what it looks like in those brokers, because I have a handful of brokers that I'm signed up with. So it just takes a look, it gives you a chance to take a look inside and see what everything is all about. So as you start looking at these broker platforms, how do you decide? How do you decide what broker to go with? Well, there's a few different ways that you could go about it. Most people, what they do is they choose it based on cheap rates. So the way that I would like you to go about it is a little bit different. So if we break the broker down into a few areas, so let's just say we have cost or fees, then we have a platform. Okay, so this is their trading platform, how good their trading platform is. And maybe you have, let's say over here, you have the support. Okay, so now we have three different areas that we can look at when it comes to the broker. And you might have a few different options for your broker. So you might have broker number one over here. Okay, so let's just call that broker one, broker two, and broker number three. Now, if you're a person that's looking for really, really cheap rates and cost is important, then you may really want to go with one of these brokers versus another. So let's say you have 100 points to allocate to each one of these. Okay, kind of like a video game where you have 100 points to allocate for your character. One is strength, one is speed. So let's say you have 100 points to allocate into each one of these areas for these brokers. So if cost is really important, you may allocate 80 points for the cost in broker number one, and then only 10 points for the platform and 10 points for the support, which would put you at 100. So you get really great rates, but you don't get that great support and you don't get a fantastic platform. Okay, so that's kind of a little bit of a balancing act, right? So you see how that works. So broker number two, if you're brand new in the stock market, or you're really new, let's say, to the internet, and you're struggling with computer and tech savvy things, what you may really want is, let's say, you want like a 50 points for the support because you want really, really good support. You're okay with paying a little bit more on that. So you might pay a 20. So 20 is not as great in terms of cost. So now you're at 70 right here, and you get 30 on the platform. So you get pretty good, really great support. You get a pretty good platform, but your rates are a little bit more pricey. Okay, so that's another way to look at it. Or in broker number 3, what you could do is do something completely different. So you could do like a really great trading software where your platform is fantastic and you allocate 70 points on that. You could allocate 5 points on the support, which is really horrible technical support. So if you pick up the phone, most of the time they're closed, but their platform is great and so forth. And then the rest of the points, let's say 25, is on the cost. So there's different brokers. As you can see, if we went with broker number 1, the cost is the best thing for that broker. If we went with broker number 2, you have really good support and fairly good platform. If we went with broker number 3, you're looking for the best platform out there, really easy to use, and the cost is not bad. It's okay, but the support is really horrible. So there's different ways to really look at these brokers, and you start breaking things down, and you can't get everything in one broker. Because what most people want, this is the dream for most people, and let's just call this a D here. What most people want is when they're choosing a broker, is they're looking for, let's say, phenomenal costs, and then they want an amazing platform, and they want really pretty good support. And they're way over budget or way over the baseline of their 100 points. So if you got 90 points on cost, 90 points on the platform, and 50 points on the support, you're just way beyond your limit, because you can't really have amazing costs and an amazing platform and really, really amazing customer support. It just usually doesn't really go that way. That's just part of business and the way people structure expenses. Because if you're cutting costs somewhere, you need to do it somewhere. So you need to do it probably on the support, because it's really expensive to have people there sitting and answering the phone to help you out. And in the same way, if you're cutting costs somewhere, maybe to have a great platform, you have to have cutting costs on the support, but you have a great platform, so you hire more developers. Okay, so you have less support, but you hire more programmers to get a really, really good platform. So that would be something like over here in version number 3, because you have a great platform. The costs are okay, but the support is really bad because you have more developers and not more people on the phone answering questions. So it all goes hand in hand, and you have to understand what is it that's more important for you. If you're probably new to the game, I would say focus on something with fairly decent support and worry less about the cost. Eventually, as you trade more, you can get this cost down. And a decent platform is fine to start with, but focus on the support if you're just getting started. You'll probably pay a little bit more for it, so your costs won't be that fantastic, but it'll get you started. And then later, what you could do is switch brokers or get a second one. You can constantly upgrade and switch and change things around based on your personal needs. All right, so there you have it. I hope you got some insight and learned a lot about choosing your broker for you. So remember, it's all about that allocation of what's important for you. So for somebody that has a discount broker and they have a really great support, they might be paying a little more on the fees. And if you're looking for lower fees, then you're probably going to be getting less technical support or assistance, or maybe not as great of a trading platform. So it goes hand in hand on what it is that you want from your broker. Thanks for joining me in this video, and if you enjoyed this video lesson, you want to see more video lessons like this one, then go ahead and click this link right there. And when you get there, enter your name and email address, and I'll go ahead and send you newsletters as new content, freebies, and discounts on my products and services get released. Now, if you want to take a look at some of those courses and products, as well as some books that I have available, then just click the link right below, and you'll be taken to that page. In the end, remember that there's more to life than just financial gains. Go out, do what you love, contribute to other people around you, but most importantly, live life abundantly. I'll see you next time.